Hello learners, this is Habiba with Excel with me. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Let's start today's class, that is eligibility test related topic, that is research. Under research we have discussed already about scientific method. Under this scientific method we understood about the meaning and also about the need of this scientific method, etc., and the steps of scientific method. Today we are going to understand the characteristics of scientific research, that is scientific method. Let's begin with introduction. Psychologists use the scientific method to conduct their research. It is a standardized way of creating observations, collecting data, forming theories, trying out predictions and deciphering outcomes or interpreting results. Obviously, scientific method means the inquiry to know about any solution of problem. So for that, in this scientific method, accurately they'll take up standardized ways and they will observe and collect the data and form different theories related to the data collected, statistics. Then they try out their predictions, that is hypothesis. Already we understood about hypothesis, and then they will decipher the outcomes and write down the interpreting results. What are the results they found after doing the research? This is scientific method. Now, what are the main characteristics of this scientific method? Let's understand. Psychological studies, like studies in different fields, ought to meet positive criteria that allows you to be taken into consideration. Scientific. So, to make it everything scientific, we need to take some criteria. We have to meet up with one criteria. In different fields, research is done. So for that studies, there should be some considerations. Research must be, there must be replicability, there should be precision, there should be falsifiability, and then parsimony. These are the 4 characteristics we should meet when we do this scientific, when we apply this scientific method. Let's start with the first one, that is replicability. What is replicability? Research is replicable, while others can repeat it and get the identical outcomes or results. 2 persons can take up the same problem, they can go up with same results also. They can be repeated. In research, things can be repeated to find out the solution by different persons and in different manner. When psychologists document or report what they have observed via their research, they also describe in detail how they made their discoveries. That means every researcher is unique. They will find out their own techniques and tools to find the solution of the problem in different manner. This manner, other psychologists can repeat the research to see if they are able to replicate the findings. They will see, first they will do they will search what the previous persons have done related to their topic, their problem. They will review the literature. That means anybody has done the same thing, they will see, and they see the findings of those persons, and again this person will research and then match up with that persons. Those findings they will match up whether there is an replicability or any changes there. After psychologists do their studies and ensure it's replicable, they develop a theory and translate the theory into a precise hypothesis. So these psychologists, what they will do? They study and ensure if there is any replicability is there, then they develop some theory and translate that theory into precise hypothesis. That is, what is the hypothesis? That is prediction of the solution. what can be the solution, they will predict beforehand. A hypothesis is a testable prediction of what is going on to appear given a positive set of situations. Obviously, psychologists test a hypothesis by using the usage of a particular research technique, which include naturalistic observation, a case study, a survey, or an experiment. There are different types of situations arise to find out the solution of those situations or the problems. These psychologists, what they will do, first they will formulate the hypothesis and then they do the observations with the different tools and techniques. They find out the result and then they will do the hypothesis testing. Whatever result they have got, they will find out whether it is matching with the hypothesis or not. In this, different things are taken up. Research techniques like naturalistic observation, naturally they will observe, otherwise they will take a case study, maybe a anecdote or a person, anything, a case study they will take, otherwise they will do a survey, or they can experiment also. If the test does not confirm the hypothesis, the psychologist revises or rejects the original theory. So this will be the solution at last. If they don't confirm the hypothesis, what they will do? They will revise once again, or they will reject whatever original theory says. They will not accept the thing, they will reject. Now, in scientific theory, these are the 4 steps in general. First one is forming hypothesis, then make observations, then refine the theory and develop new theory. These are the 4 major steps in scientific research. Now, what is a good theory? We are talking about they will take up the theory, they will make new theories. Now, what is a theory? Theory must organize many observations in a logical way. There should be a logic to make any observation. So they should organize in a logical way. Then they must allow researchers to come up with clear predictions to test the theory. That is the main good theory. What the researcher should come up with, clear predictions. That is hypothesis. They must make the hypothesis to test whether their theory is matching with the predictable solution or not. That is the good theory. Now, the second characteristic of scientific method is precision. By pointing out hypotheses precisely, psychologists ensure that they are able to reflect or replicate their personal and others' research. Obviously, what they will do, psychologists, they will ensure, that is, they will be able to replicate the other person's theory or not. To make hypotheses more precise, psychologists use operational definitions to define the variables they look at or study. Operational definition, what does it state? Precisely how a variable will be measured. That is the motto of this precision. Now, let's see the example. A psychologist conducts an experiment to find out whether toddlers are happier in heat climate or cool climate. Then that psychologist, she needs to have an operational definition of happiness. First, that person should understand what is the main meaning of happiness in order that she will measure exactly how happy the toddlers are. She would possibly operationally define happiness as the quantity of smiles in keeping with our. This is the main definition, operational definition of happiness. The quantity of smiles they are giving those toddlers per hour, that she will measure to know in the heat climate and cool climate how happier those toddlers are. Now let's see the third one, falsifiability. A good theory or hypothesis additionally ought to be falsifiable, which means that it should be said in a manner that makes it possible to reject it. In other words, we can say in other phrases, we have to show or prove a theory or hypothesis wrong. That means theories and hypotheses need to be falsifiable because all researchers can succumb to the confirmation bias. So researchers who show confirmation bias search for and take delivery of evidence that supports what they need to believe and forget about, or reject proof that refutes their beliefs. So this is falsifiability. In this, what they do, hypothesis additionally falsifiable. That means it should be said that whether it is possible to reject it or not, they should see. That is, we have to show or prove a theory or hypothesis wrong. That is falsifiability. Let's see through example. Some people theorize that the monster not only exists but has become intelligent enough to elude detection by hiding in undiscovered, undetectable underwater caves. That means this theory is not falsifiable. Researcher can never find these undiscovered caves or the monster that supposedly hides in them, and they have no way to prove this wrong. So this is the example, best example of falsifiability. That means some people, what they say, monster is not only existing, but it is becoming intelligent by hiding itself undiscovered underwater caves. So this theory cannot be falsifiable. That means researcher can never find out that undiscovered caves or the monster that are supposedly hides in them. They have no way to prove this wrong. Now parsimony, the fourth one. Parsimonious, let's see the meaning of it first. Parsimonious means being thrifty or stingy. That is economical. A man or woman who values parsimony will apply the thriftiest or maximum logically low priced or economical explanation for a set of phenomena, whatever occurrence. So being thrifty is parsimony. Now the principle of parsimony, also known as Occam's Razor, keeps that researchers must follow the simplest explanation possible to any set of observation. If it is vague, people will not understand. It should be simplest. Whatever observation they are making, things should be simplest in explanation. For instance, psychologists attempt to give an explanation for results with the aid of the use of properly well-known theories rather than complex new hypotheses. That is the best thing. Parsimony prevents psychologists from inventing and pursuing outlandish theories. They should be inside. Whatever are vague, they will not take. They should prevent such kind of things, the psychologists. So whatever simplest in explanation, that should be there. Let's see through example. Suppose a student consistently falls asleep in her social studies class. She theorizes that before each class, her social studies teacher secretly sprays her seat with a nerve gas that makes her very drowsy. If she had applied the principle of parsimony, she would not have come up with this theory. She can account for her sleepiness with a much simpler and more likely explanation. She finds social studies boring. So this is the simplest explanation. So let's conclude the topic. Researchers make observations with a view to describe and measure behavior. After observing certain occasions time and again, researchers come up with a concept that explains those observations. A theory is an evidence that organizes separate pieces of statistics in a coherent manner. Researchers commonly develop a theory best when they have accumulated a whole lot of evidence and made sure their research consequences may be reproduced by means of others. So we come to the end of this session. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Thanks for your attention and time. Happy learning.